whether we know that to be true or not, we do know that he's posting all this and letting the girlfriend post all of this stuff on social media. So I'm sorry, but I don't believe that you're a private person, dude.
No. Welcome to Cocktails and Gossip, the podcast where we drink cocktails, but you better believe we're going to spill the tea. We chat reality TV, celebrity blinds, and the hottest tea from BravoandCocktails.com. And as always, it's all alleged and just for fun. We do not verify our blinds. I'm B.
And I'm Amanda. Let's get into this week's tea. I don't know about you, but it feels like life is constantly throwing curveballs at me, and I'm always looking for a way to de-stress naturally, aka not always turning to the wine, which is why I want to tell the cocktailers about a brand I love called SocialCBD.com. I've talked about their topical products, but I wanted to update you about some of their other products. I've been trying Social CBD's Peppermint Isolate CBD drops in the evenings as a way to kind of naturally chill, and I've noticed a difference. I'm finding myself to be a bit more calm, but I'm also sleeping better. Check out their new Social CBD body care line that features high quality skincare ingredients, and their new bath salts offer 400 milligrams of CBD per bath. Cocktailers, use our code GOSSIP to get a free product when you buy one at socialcbd.com. That's socialcbd.com and use code GOSSIP to get a buy one, get one on all of their items. Enjoy.
I'm B.
And I'm Amanda. So let's get into this week's tea. I know that you received some exclusive tea from last night's Real Housewives of New Jersey party that they were filming the finale at Dolores's boyfriend's house.
Oh boy. So I had to, Amanda, post this to the site because it was too good not to. But I'm going to go more in depth for our listeners. Big fight. Huge between Melissa and Louis. Apparently, she called him out. Specifically what she said, I'm not privy to, but she called him out, lost his mind, flipped out. So that whole season of him keeping a lid on it, blew his top, like lost it. I hear veins bulging from the neck, like screaming at a woman, and not just any woman, what is it, 2 days away from the wedding?
Yeah.
His wife, by the time this is aired, it will be his wife's sister-in-law, okay?
Yeah.
So she's not going to the wedding as things stand now. She has said she is not attending. Does that mean Joe doesn't attend? Does Joe call Melissa's sisters and say, guys, you have to talk to her. We have to go to my sister's wedding. I just can't not be there. That's all possible. But as we sit today, which is the Thursday before their wedding, right? So the wedding's in 2 days. She has said she's not going. I mean, and I'm curious. And when this airs, we're going to do a post because I want to know what the cocktailers think. Should she go? And so many people, whenever I post anything, yell at me in my DMs, or we know on the site that I'm Team Gorga. This is my account, okay? It's my perspective on the shows we watch. Do I prefer the Gorgas? Yeah, it's an opinion. It's not a fact. Other people can prefer Teresa and Louis. That's their take on what they see. So it's, to me, silly that people keep saying it because I'm very transparent. I like some housewives more than others. Everybody does. Every viewer does. If you watch a sitcom, you may like a character. I may like a different character. It's the way the cookie crumbles, okay? It's not that serious. I say all that to say, do we think she should go? I think ultimately she should go because, I don't know, it's your family. It's your husband's sister. Suck it up. Whatever has transpired, I feel that she should be there for her niece's sake, right? show face. That's my opinion. You know, life is long, but life is short. And you have to live with these people. You have to coexist. I guess you don't have to, but you sort of do. You know, that's your daughter's godmother. You know, do the right thing.
I agree with you. I think suck it up. I mean, I think it sounds like maybe there needs to be a discussion had and cooler heads need to prevail. And perhaps, I mean, who knows who was in the wrong, but I think regardless, whatever Louis got mad about, I think yelling and screaming at somebody, if this is truly what happened in a party, that's not, you know, that is not appropriate behavior.
So my feeling,
especially if you're a man.
So my feeling, to your point of cooler heads needing to prevail, whatever people think of Melissa, right? A lot of people go back to she came on the show, she didn't tell Teresa, all that, fine. But no one can deny that she has always been the cooler head. Does that mean that she doesn't talk smack behind Teresa's back? Of course not. But I mean, how many reunions have we watched? Who's the cooler head in the room? Certainly not Joe, her husband. Certainly not.
No.
Certainly not Teresa. Louis is very clearly just a cool head for show. I mean, we know. We have the word video, guys. So
Right.
If Melissa is no longer the cool head, I'm not sure how we proceed. I'm really not.
Yeah. You know, and back to the whole, like, you being a Melissa stan thing. I know that to not be true. I think also, though, I think that readers know that you tend to side with Melissa when you watch the show. And I think that that's why sometimes we get more of that kind of tea. I'm sure that there are other accounts and other.
She's more normal to me, Amanda. I just feel like she's more normal to me. I'm not saying she's a perfect person without fault in the whole family dynamic. Absolutely not. That isn't what I'm saying. But ultimately, when I watch it, she makes more sense to me. It's just what it is. And that's my personality. Someone else has a different personality, sees it differently. And that's what makes the world go round. It would be very boring if we all agreed.
Well, and so I have a little bit of a theory about this, but back to Melissa going to the wedding, like, it's not just about, none of it's about Melissa, really. But the wedding isn't just about Louis and Teresa. It's also about Teresa's family. And that's where I think Melissa needs to think about. And like you said, like, being there for her nieces, and then Melissa being there for her brother or for her husband, whose sister is getting married. So, I think she should I also agree she should suck it up and go. She doesn't have to stay all night. She doesn't have to, be the first person on the dance floor, But I do have a bit of a theory about this drama. So as you said, Louis kind of kept a lid on it, and he's really kind of won his way back. It sounds like, from what we've been hearing, he's won his way back into kind of everyone's good graces and has been behaving himself. But we also are hearing that, this wedding for show spinoff kind of thing has not been a done deal. What if Louis knew that, last night essentially was his last chance to really bring the drama to try to lock this four episode spinoff down?
It's so interesting you say that, because we were told that it was not confirmed that there was a spinoff for Teresa, and it was pending on multiple factors. So now we're hearing mixed things. We hear that the finale was filmed ahead of the wedding. So, I heard this before last night. So that makes sense, right? Because that Peaky Blinders party at Dolores's boyfriend Paul's house was filmed last night. So that's ahead of the wedding. So that checks out. And that depending on what they get, the wedding will be a separate show. So we have an email and we posted it, so I'm not going to go into depth, but basically it's saying that it's going to be a continuation after the finale. The rehearsal dinner is Friday, wedding Saturday. So we can expect to see Jennifer and Dolores. My theory is, and I know we spoke about them being added as bridesmaids, that was for the show. It makes sense now, right? Because if they're doing a spinoff, Teresa's friends are not people that we know. So as interesting as they may be on camera, people don't care to see them. Jen and Dolo are housewives, so we want to see them. Now, and these people who call me Melissa Stan, is this Melissa's way of getting herself on the spinoff? Was she out? Was production, and we know that production loves Teresa, were they like, listen, you give us Dolores and Jen in your bridal party and we don't need your brother and Melissa? I can absolutely see that being the case. A little suspicious that I got this tea, right? Bright and early. And so is this the way of right ahead of the finale getting, and let's say it's just Joe and Melissa storming around the house with Margaret. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there, or Jackie or whoever storming around talking about how they're not going to the wedding. And is that their angle?
Will she go or won't she go? Like, I totally hear you.
And then flash to her in a dress, getting into a, Escalade, her and Joe looking pensive. And do they pull up to the wedding or do they pull up to Butcher Block in New Jersey and go to dinner with their friends? Dun, 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 dun. Listen, you know what? I'm going to become a producer. Bravo. Call me. I mean, I am really, we just created it. Guys, if they show that, I want to cut.
It would be good. You know what? That's a good point. I think it could be Melissa making sure she's got a spot on this show.
Which I call that smart, and people can say, no one is saying that the Gorgers aren't conniving and looking for their 15 minutes. And guess what? My opinion, you could say the woman has no storyline. I would much rather be collecting my check how many years in a row without showing my ass than be the hot mess. Train Express marrying a hot mess.
Yeah. Well, and they get paid based on like what episodes they're in, I think, too. And so like, hey, it makes sense from a money standpoint. So speaking of the Butcher's Block, we know you got some stuff about Melissa and Teresa and the shower last weekend.
So we all see the pictures and we see everyone's there, right? So I didn't think anything of it. I assume, you don't know how much is for TV. So everyone's there. You figure, well, stuff can't be as bad as people are saying. I get a DM. It says, I'm really trying to stay low key, but had to share this with you. Had dinner tonight at the Butcher's Block in Long Branch. Melissa and Joe were there. Today was Teresa's bridal shower. Melissa was definitely sad, and Joe kept trying to encourage and console her. She was crying. I heard she went to the shower for a couple minutes. She went over to say hello to Teresa, and someone who said they were a part of Teresa's security team asked her to leave. So the person said that apparently they're not on speaking terms, but Melissa went. And, the haters will say she went for camera time. Possibility. This person, who obviously is Team Melissa, said she went because Teresa's daughters really encouraged a reconciliation. I also want to point out, we could call this a surprise shower. You're getting married. You're obviously having a shower. Melania's in the Bahamas. Wonder if we're going to see that crack. Wonder, Melania's in the Bahamas with her father. You can't tell me that she's on board with the wedding. There's 365 days in a year. You go see your father a couple of times. Why are you not at? And guess what? If it was a surprise, why isn't Louis' sister who planned it saying to Melania, listen, can you fly out? Can you fly back a couple of days early? She was there for over a week. Can you fly back a couple of days early? We're throwing your mom a shower.
Well, if any of Teresa's daughters are going to have an issue with this wedding, it's going to be Melania.
Yep.
Interesting. I don't know. Do we think is Melania back? Is she coming to the wedding?
I haven't looked at Juicy Joe's Instagram.
Yeah.
Let me do that.
Interesting.
If she's not at the wedding, I feel like even her dad would be like, go to the wedding.
You need to go.
Right. I can't imagine that. Okay. So Joe's stories. No, Melania's, this was an hour ago. They look like they're in like a southern, like they were in cowboy hats. Maybe it's like a Nashville themed bar in the Bahamas. I don't know. This was posted an hour ago, but we have to remember, I mean, people don't always post in real time, but
right.
I'm going to go ahead. Is that Melania or Gia? Because she's wearing a hat. It's one of the daughters.
Well, I could also see too, the daughters going down and spending time with him right before the wedding because this might be hard for him, you know? So
Right.
again, it's Thursday. The wedding isn't till Saturday. So there's some time and it's not that long of a flight for them to get back. So
Right.
about planning on Jersey, because we've gotten some emails just about what's going on for next season already now that they're wrapping this. So do you want me to read the email?
Yeah. Or just like
Okay.
sum it up.
Yeah. So it's from Real Housewives of New Jersey season. Subject is Real Housewives of New Jersey future. So I believe we posted this a couple of days ago, but essentially the email is saying like Bravo's finally realizing after what happened with New York and especially with the OC that it makes more sense to add newbies while the veterans are there and not try to do a total reboot like they have done with OC. And so these veterans were, I guess, cast specifically to kind of be like younger versions of the housewives.
You mean the new
Danielle-
people, not the veterans, the new people were cast to be,
Oh.
yeah.
Sorry, you're right. The newbies. So Danielle is like Teresa or Jennifer.
Jen is a Margaret type.
Margaret. And Rachel is like Dolores and Melissa. So when it's time for the veterans to leave, we'll all know these newbies and they can continue on the story. So we'll see. I think that makes sense though. Oh, it also says Teresa only wants to spin off if it means a multiple season type of show, like Don't Be Tardy.
So that last part, I don't, and again, I don't see why Teresa couldn't carry her own show. I really think she could, even if you included her friends, right? Because you can only shield but so much from the camera. So I think she absolutely could carry a show. I don't think it would be spun as positively as she would like. I don't think you could compare it to a Don't Be Tardy. I think it would be more like a Bobby and Whitney. But to the point of the newbies and the veterans, yes, it's planning ahead. You know what else it is, Amanda? It's lighting a fire under veterans' asses. Don't get so comfortable, okay, hon? Because that girl over there, she's you in a year. And that's how you get good TV.
Yeah, I agree. I think we really saw it with OC and, you know, that first season when it was just like, we had, I think it was the last Trace Amiga season and then we had these newbies and then that wasn't as good too because they were fighting. So I think we'll see. I think that it's a more sound situation than what's going on with New York, where it's going to be all brand new people, or maybe they'll bring one person from what we've been hearing.
More on that later.
Yes. So big win for Cocktails and Gossip. There was the Taylor announcement this week.
I mean, and our listeners know, you and I were like, it originated because a follower was in the audience of Watch What Happens Live, and they messaged me and they said, B, I was at Watch What Happens Live. And so anyone who's been, if you haven't been, I am fortunate enough that I have been. Andy comes out before and he's like, all right, who's got questions? And so the audience asks a couple of questions and he answers. And I love you guys because when followers go, they always send me the stuff and you learn a lot because this is not being aired. It's just Andy goofing off, but sometimes he says things that are revealing. So in this case, somebody said, would you ever take a housewife and put her in a new city? And he said, actually, we're in the process of doing that right now. So, I mean, this is going back the beginning of June. You and I said, okay, this is what a follower told me. Who do we think? And we, talked it out. And then we landed on Taylor. And I was like, you know what? She's currently on the trip at Dorinda's house. She lives in the OC. It just makes so much sense. So, and then in, pods following that, we became very confident.
Yeah, we went with it.
And honest to God, it started from that little morsel of nothing. And there you have it. And it was not us who put her there. Obviously, it was in the work. So I say all that to say that you don't always need a source. Sometimes you just have to be a fan. And it's like, I don't know if we should be proud or like disgusted at ourselves, Amanda. Like my dad would be disgusted that I follow this so closely, yet do not know what's going on in the world. But I can predict housewives that will switch to other cities. So,
you know, Heather McDonald always says this, and this is how I explain it to my husband. I'm like, this is our sports.
yes.
This is our football season. This is our baseball season. Every show has a different season, and like this is our sports. So,
and now they're even trading players. So it really is like sports.
It totally is. And then, you know, this one hasn't been confirmed yet, but we keep hearing about my favorite, Jesus Jugs, too.
You know, so most recent, we hear their contract negotiations. I can't see her not wanting to come back. So if they're willing, she'll be back. I think, and we've said this before, I think it would be a friend of Capacity. Taylor also is a friend of. And guys, that's not written in stone. But on the girls' trip, she wasn't that dynamic. So she may be somebody who Tamra meets for lunch and talks smack about, right? About other, like that may be her role. And if she expands upon that, if she makes herself more central, yeah, why wouldn't they bump her up? But that's up to her. I mean, nobody's going to give her that. You got to earn that.
Yeah. And then, you know, I think, you know, and you've said this too, like they have got to pull out all the stops for this season. I think there's a lot of pressure on this cast to make it work.
And so many people, fans, ask the question, why are they putting so much effort into OC? My feeling is it's the flagship, okay? It's the Gucci in Florence, or, okay, don't fact check me. I don't know where Gucci's first store was. I think it was Florence. But if you shut that down, what message does that send for housewives in a general way, right? If you're going to shut down your OG city, maybe the jig is up. So I think they're not going to do that.
I think they've got to carry this flame and they've got to bring it. And I think this cast is going to be up for it. I think with Tamra kind of at the helm and doing her Tamra thing, I think they're going to be just fine.
Agreed. I think we're going to get it back.
Yeah, I agree. So Southern Charm, we got some stuff on the site and in through the Instagram about a few of the folks at a Fish concert.
Yes. So there was a rumor that Taylor was at the Fish concert. And I mean, Amanda.
Taylor as in Shep's ex.
Yes, as in Shep's ex, right? So I think we discussed their breakup last episode. Everyone knows they broke up. It was not her. Every person in Charleston, they even sent me pictures of who it was, which I would never post. The person is not a public figure. Apparently she's, you know, just a friend of the guys and what have you. So she was not at the Fish concert. She is done. Moved on, moving on. She's not going back. So then we get the email. Very quickly from Anon, email charming at Bravo, subject more than friends. Things are going to get tricky. Her ex's good friend is into her. The feeling is mutual. She doesn't care if the ex gets mad, and he doesn't either, but he also knows how much influence the ex holds in their town and with the network. All fair in love and war. Thoughts, Amanda?
Okay, so we posted this, and again, guys, if you're not reading the comments, like, you gotta, because the readers are smart. But there was some debate on this one. So a lot of the readers were guessing that it was Austin wanting to get with Taylor, especially coming after this, you know, supposed sighting at the Fish concert, which has been proven to be not true. And anyway, I don't think it's that, because I think Taylor is way smarter than that, honestly. We saw, though, God, I'm trying to remember when this was. This was a long time ago. Like in the spring, we posted on the site that there will be a Whitney and Naomi hookup this season on Southern Charm. So wondering if this is actually about that sitch.
So people posted that and it didn't immediately come to my mind because I don't think Craig would care. I don't mean that in a mean way. I just think that I think that if Naomi were happy with Whitney, I think that Craig would be happy for her. I think that, you know, Naomi has moved on from him. He's moved on from her. And I think they're at a place where they would be happy for either's, you know, new partnership. But certainly it could be that, because the other person was Pringle. Apparently in the episode, he whispered like, "Oh, you're my true love," or something. So Pringle's moving back to California. And listen, would Pringle be interested in Taylor just outside of Shep? Obviously. I mean, who wouldn't? She's beautiful. She's fun. But remember, Pringle and Shep are like childhood or college. Like, they're like really buddies. He's moving to California. I don't think he would do that. So I don't know. I honestly don't. Guys, when we get these, I don't know who it is. I post it and I don't know. I don't see Austin do, again, would he want to? But then like Olivia plays in, and Olivia and Taylor are friends. So that doesn't make sense. Although, and they always say it, like what do they say? One of them said like, it's so incestual in Charleston. Like they all go with each other. So, hey, listen, we're going to find out.
We're in the middle of summer now, and thank goodness for Freedom Natural deodorant. It's keeping me from being stinky at the pool, my kids' sports, and at parties. All the fun things that we do in the summer. I'm still a little shocked at how well Freedom Natural deodorant works for me. The founder created it after she tried other natural deodorants that just didn't work. My favorite scent is the bergamot mint, but they also make it in lavender citrus, frankincense peach, and unscented. They have natural antibacterial wipes and shower sprays too. Freedom products are aluminum-free, cruelty-free, chemical-free, vegan, and like I said, they really work. You can buy them at freedomdeodorant.com, and we got a special discount for our cocktailers. Use code GOSSIP for 20% off. So go to freedomdeodorant.com and use code GOSSIP for 20% off your purchase. Find your freedom today. Yes. Oh, heck yes, we are. I think it's got to be Naomi and Whitney. Because Whitney is a producer on the show. It makes sense because this blind says that Whitney has, that this person has pull with the network.
Right.
Which would make a lot of sense with Whitney. And who knows how, Craig would actually feel. I mean, there is a certain amount of, yes, Charleston is incestual, and yes, all of this, but do you really want to see your ex date one of your friends? Absolutely not. So it could be more about that versus him really having any real, like, lingering feelings for Naomi.
Right.
It could just be like, dude, no, like, I don't know. Don't go find somebody else.
Right.
Don't date my, my ex.
To which I counter, like, Naomi is quite the catch. So if Whitney can pull that off, good for him.
Totally. So, okay. So the Lisa and Lenny drama in Miami. I was just thinking about this because, we posted that things were not good. I know we talked about it actually, like on one of the first podcasts, we talked about that. And then sure enough, the divorce gets to start, is announced. And we are just seeing so much play out on social media.
Like, it's disturbing. He's gallivanting all over, I want to say Austria. I think that's where she's from, and I refuse to call her a girlfriend, with the mistress. He's posting pictures, stories, she's posting. So Lenny's mom comments on a picture he posts saying he looked too thin. His response to his mother, to his mom, is, it isn't easy having a wife and a girlfriend. And then, like, the mother responded, like, okay, but eat something, like, gross all around. Lisa commented, and he immediately deleted it. But, the cocktailers, they sent me that screenshot. Yeah. She commented, and she said, Lenny, how can you find humor in this incredibly difficult time in our lives? He immediately deleted her comment. People are saying, why isn't she blocked? I got to tell you something. A lot of my followers have tagged me, and they all share that after they do that, he blocks them. Guess who he hasn't blocked? Me.
Interesting.
Because he wants. So now there's this other spin. And I don't get this angle. And with my followers, when I posted this, they were like, how does that make sense? But apparently, all of these stories that we're seeing in page 6, he's planting all of these because he's saying that she is only focused on herself. She's spending, $60,000 on clothing and jewelry. And, to be clear, they're not divorced. It's their joint account. But apparently the narrative that he's creating is that, like, if she's so concerned and so whatever, why isn't she home with the kids? To which I say, fuck you. Like, have you seen your kids? But, I'm not an attorney. I hear that Florida's 50-50, blah, 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 blah. I guess we'll find out, like, how this plays out. And if he is able, I do know, even though I made fun of his attorney I do know that he, according to a source, secured, like, the best attorney, and hers is, I don't want to say too much, but
so much of this, I mean, it's about the money for him at this point. And so it's going to make sense for him to go and, post all these stories, just like we've also, about her overspending, just like she's also been rumored to say, that he is engaging in financial warfare, that he left her with, only a few $1,000s, that he's cut her off on everything, and that, she's got bills to pay and kids to take care of and that kind of thing. And so, I mean, again, like, it's just sad when a relationship like this it's really just now all like, that's all he cares about at this point. I think, he is probably arrogant enough to think like the kids will be fine no matter what. And that, who cares how much psychological damage that this all causes everybody, because everybody will get over it. And it's like, it just would be nice, especially in a situation like this, where, he's clearly left the marriage, found somebody new. Like, it would be just so great to see him just take a little bit better care, take this a little bit more private, and just, wrap it up and let everybody move on.
And
but now
publicly he says, I'm a private person. It's Lisa who's public. Okay, dude, you and allegedly you're feeding stories to the press. So sit your ass down.
Well, yeah. And whether we know that to be true or not, we do know that he's posting all this and letting the girlfriend post all of this stuff on social media. So I'm sorry, but I don't believe that you're a private person, dude.
No. You are in private when you act Carbone.
God. Again, back to my original point before we even knew they're getting divorced. Carbone is not where you take the mistress that you're trying to hide.
Right.
Like, we should have been giving him a little more credit from the beginning for knowing exactly what the F he was doing.
Yep.
So Vanderpump, we know they're filming right now. We've been getting some tea. We got a really good piece of gossip this week that we have not shared yet.
You know what I was thinking? Remember your theory on that blind that the people it was about actually planted it because they're like, I feel like I'm getting so much tea on has been bar stars that I feel like they're sending it so that they're relevant. But, the fans love, they don't love the Vanderpump Rules people, but they love talking smack about them.
Yeah.
So, I give people what they want. I find most of them very uninteresting, but the ex-bar star recently broke up with her boyfriend. So many of my followers are like, why'd they break up? I'm like, I don't even think I follow the person anymore, Amanda, because like once you're off, you're irrelevant to me. So she sold her home a while back. She had bought the home when she was on the show. She sold it. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to come to the conclusion that she sold it because she couldn't afford it. So she was living with him in his apartment or his house. I don't know what it was. He has money. I forget. I don't remember. They all live in Hollywood. So I don't know if it's like family money or if he's like some sort of like agent, whatever. He's got money. So she was apparently, allegedly, according to my intel, cheating on him. So the reason that she didn't capitalize on that breakup, because like if she was the scorned one knowing this person, could you imagine? She probably would have been penning another novel of fiction, of course. She was cheating on him. And so that's why they split. And she tried to keep it under wraps. So, a couple weeks go by and there she is on somebody's Instagram story, who the person wasn't somebody I know. It wasn't like a person who was ever on the show. But as I said, people really follow them. So I guess it's like a friend of theirs. And long story short, she was with the new guy, like cuddled up in the Instagram story. So she tried to hide it for a while, I guess just to not have any backlash. But yeah, so we know this woman. I mean, based on what we saw on the show, she's a person who cheats, or she was, and I guess she still is.
Not shocking. I'm sure you guys can guess who this one's about. And then, of course, we've got Jax. He's back selling his used t-shirts on Instagram on the Jax's Closet site. But it's just because he's clearing the closet out, not because he needs the money.
And he also is claiming he's donating it to some charity. Like, charity starts at home, Jax. You have a lien on your house.
Show us the receipts. I mean, yikes. Okay, so Dubai. We haven't been talking about Dubai a ton. And I think, we'll talk a little bit maybe more about why that could be. But we got an email that said that Dubai is doing the pickup letters for the next season coming out, that the pickup letters are going out this week. And we heard that Caroline Brooks will be a friend next season. Mm-hmm. And that there will be 3 new cast members. The roles, whether they're friends of or housewives, has not been decided. And that filming begins in September.
So when we posted this, the overall feedback was people were happy to hear Brooks will be a friend of. They also are happy that new ladies will be added. Overall, followers are disappointed in Dubai. It isn't as dynamic as I would like. I know there's this rumor swirling around. I don't know if there's any validity to it, that the government, right, in Dubai really required that so much be edited out. And if that is the case, I mean, it would make sense. I personally, it's such a diversion from, I guess, my everyday life and, you're in Dubai and the scenery and the fashion. I liked watching it just for that. Like, I'll put it on, but I have to be honest. Am I really engaged in the storylines as I'm watching? Not really. I'm like scrolling through my phone, looking up, watching them on a camel in the desert and being like, ooh, that's pretty. That's cool. And back on my phone. Mm-hmm. So like, I'll give it a shot. And here's the thing that's floating around, Amanda. Apparently, Phaedra has come out and been like, I'm not going back to Atlanta. That ship has sailed. I'm not interested. But what she's saying is, add me to Dubai.
Which makes sense. Yeah. She did the guest appearance. The thing with Dubai, I was thinking about this and why it's just not clicking with me. And so I do think, I know there to be something to this whole government being a part of, they are looking at this as a tourism opportunity, right? To really push, more people to come and to be like, hey, no, it's, you can be gay and come here, and yes, you can drink alcohol and come here, trying to kind of dispel all the rumors all of the things that had maybe previously been true that are not so true now, right? So they're trying to update their image on this very, very public stage. I think part of it, though, to me, is that editing has not been great. I am losing where we are in time. I feel like Caroline Stanbury's wedding has been like coming up this weekend on the show for the last 4 episodes, but then they're going and doing other stuff. And I'm like getting really confused.
What's this
about time?
This could be the editing that you're talking about. Like it is, and it's so funny you say that because again, I half pay attention and I'm thinking to myself, did I miss an episode? Are we still here? Like, yeah, it's weird.
I have been known, especially with the show, to fall asleep during the show. Sometimes I don't get a chance to watch it until late and I end up falling asleep, right? And then so I'm like, wait, did I fall asleep? Like, what? I'm so confused. Then I'll go back and I'll watch it. And I'm like, no, they're jumping. The timing is super confusing. They need to get some better editors in like really making like all of the time make sense, have there be a beginning and an end, because it's jumping around. And I think that I'm hoping that is really what is driving us having a hard time really getting into the story, because we're just not following it in an order, and they're not telling the story very well. So let's hope with some, let's throw it out there, Bravo, get some new editors. We'll get a little bit of new blood in there, and, second season generally will take off a little bit.
And then what does Bravo do, Amanda? Do they can it? Right? If second season is the same, do they, like, I guess you get to a point where, just from a logistical standpoint, now you've employed all these people, they're the producers, and like, you're kind of so far into it that you have to give it season 2, right?
Yeah. And then, if season 2 isn't working out, they'll put it on Peacock, and then they'll blame the cast.
Yeah.
They'll be like, the cast just didn't bring it.
Right.
Not, they would never say, it's because the government made us cut stuff out, or because our editors couldn't tell the story right. They'll just be like, our cast didn't bring it. So, just like with Dallas, they'll be like, well, yeah, that's over. So
speaking of Phaedra, we got a very interesting email this week.
Oh, yeah.
It was titled Co-Parenting. And I know we all love Apollo. I mean, and wrongfully, right? Because he is not the best dude, but he is gorgeous. And they as a couple are beautiful. And
do we love Apollo? I don't think I love Apollo. Maybe just you love Apollo. I do love Apollo. I mean, he's a criminal, yes, but he's a smart criminal. I love me a nice white collar criminal. Like, I like a smart criminal, right? He's not just like hitting someone over the head with a bat and robbing them, like, right.
So, like, I like that. Their children are gorgeous.
Oh my gosh, they're so cute.
And so at a minimum, even if you're not a fan of Apollo, obviously we're all a fan of a good co-parenting relationship. And
yes,
it was exciting to see that they have that, because we know that was not always the case. So it got me thinking, and I thought to myself, like, be mature, B, okay? Just because they're hanging out together doesn't mean they're hooking up. Or does it? Because the streets are talking. And
the streets are talking, and he does have I'm going to say this. He has a very nice 6-pack, and I could see how, like you fall into some old comfort sex.
And yes, and I could see him being very convincing, and it is the father of her children. And hey, Atlanta, let us know what's happening.
Yeah, tell us
more
here. We need to know. Okay, so Beverly Hills, I die. This email. It's from Not So Licky. Email, bhreport@diamond.com. The subject is Sia. So it says, Bravo has, and we posted this, Bravo has already decided that Diana won't be getting a second season. The overall reaction to her casting on the show has been negative, and they know keeping her could lose them some valuable cast members such as Garcelle and Sutton. Production loves a villain, but not one like Sanela. I don't know if I'm saying that right. In other news, production is also toying with bringing back Brandy as a friend of the show to amp up the drama. Watch this space.
I don't think I needed somebody to email me to tell me that Diana wouldn't be back. I don't think she would choose to be back. I don't think it worked out for her in the way she thought it would. And I think we won't see her again on our televisions ever.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, the cocktailers have a lot to say in the comments. Somebody's like, why would, they never fire anybody, during the season. They always wait until after the finale or after the reunion. And I don't think anybody's saying that they said she's fired. I think what it's saying is that Bravo's already decided that she's not going to come back.
Right.
Which I think is, I agree. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that she's just not working. And honestly, she's just just disappointing. Like, I felt like there was so much promise. And, I've said this before, but I want to see more about the lavish lifestyle. More on the clothes and the houses and whatever. And I think she decided she was going to try to step into this villain role, and it just didn't work for her.
She sucks. I don't like her. I don't like anything about her.
Yeah.
Bye.
I don't think anybody does. I'm like, God, you have all this money and your fashion is just not. It's just not cute. Okay,
Brandy coming back, I'm down for.
Yeah, no, I think that will be good. I think everyone says, well, doesn't she need to get the drinking underhand? But again, guys,
why? No one else has
vacation, and they're on vacation. Like this isn't, this is an 8-day trip where they're doing boozy lunch, mimosas at breakfast. Honestly, I got to stand up for both her, and I always stand up for Dorinda, because when I'm on vacation, I have mimosas. I don't have mimosas on a Tuesday morning when I'm driving my kids to school,
right,
which is going to be more of what, filming Beverly Hills would be like. So anyway, we'll see. But we saved you guys the very best for last. We got some very, very fresh tea about Real Housewives of New York. So just kind of reminding everybody.
Exclusive to us.
Exclusive to the podcast, too. We know that there will be 2 shows being filmed, Legacy and this new RHONY reboot. We have been told by good sources that they will be filming at the same time. And last we had also shared that the sources said the reboot cast was still being solidified. But you have something for us.
I do. So I have one of the cast members of the new RHONY. Her name is Lizzie Savetsky, originally from Texas, went to college in New York City, met her husband Ira in New York City. They got married. They have 3 kids. He's a plastic surgeon. We love that. You guys know we love that. And it would clock, right? Because these plastic surgeons that come on Bravo make out like bandits.
Right.
There were articles written that she test filmed for Dallas. So they want on, right? And they want it for the business. So she test filmed for Dallas. It didn't go anywhere. I don't know. That may have been before they decided. And we do know that they were filming before they, put it on pause. Let's say put it on pause, because we do hear.
That tracks.
Yeah. So that totally tracks. And now she's headed to New York. Word on the street is their family's looking for a place to live so they can film. And I'm thinking to myself, they liked her filming for Dallas, but they decided for other reasons, not anything to do with this woman, Lizzie Savetsky, that they weren't going to proceed with Dallas. So they said, was she the spark, Amanda? Like, was she this interesting personality where they were like, we could build a show around her? Because... And you tell this part, because I love this.
Well, we know also that the New York husband, he's from New York. So that also makes sense. That's where they met. But so I'm looking at her Instagram right now, which you gotta love, because and you guys should all look it up, because her profile picture is her wearing this very Carrie Bradshaw dress, literally like kind of a tutu skirt and sparkles, with the New York City skyline in the background. So it looks like she's got a pretty good following, like 200,000 people. And then based on what I'm reading, she is a Jewish advocate and also sober. So she's a sobriety advocate as well. But best of all, she is a matchmaker, which will make great TV.
We love a matchmaker. And I'm going to assume that the other women, some of them will be single. So I think that this sounds like a recipe for a very good show.
Yeah, I think, and I agree with you that if she test filmed for Dallas and then, they've decided to put that on pause, but they really like her, this all tracks. So I think, and she's super cute, and I think, having kids, and she's young. I think I don't know how old she is, but she looks super young. So, young mom with 3 kids is something that viewers all like to see as well. So
right, and the husband's from New York. He's a plastic surgeon. So clearly, what is it that Jill Aaron said? We run with some very important people. But make that those very important people in the 2022 and
the new generation.
Yeah, the new generation of very important people. And I mean, they'll give us out east, they'll give us the Hamptons. It's going to be good.
It's going to be good. All right. Well, there is your exclusive podcast only tea, guys. Thanks so much for listening. We are so enjoying everything coming in from you guys and all the comments. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Next week, we'll have more.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Just want to ask you guys a favor, just getting kicked off. So many people have been asking us to do this podcast. So please do subscribe. And if you've subscribed, go to your podcast app and hit those 3 little dots to share with your friends, but only friends who like good tea, because the ones who don't care about tea, then forget them. And don't forget, find us on Instagram at bravoandcocktails_, and check out the website because some great tea gets put there daily that would get us kicked off of Instagram. So thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye, guys. See you next time.